get warm water. And a jug and warm water. Okay. Some of those cowtails. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tirthavanachari Jamuna Tirthavanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tirthavanachari Jamuna Tirthavanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Paragraj, Ikacharya, Shatavasata, Shishimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kopi, Vaishnava Brinda ki, Grantharaj, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Jai Nitai, Go Premanande. All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 12, chapter entitled Vritrasura's Glorious Death. Text number 22. Yasya Bhaktir Bhagavati Haro Nishreya Sheshware Vikridatom Ritam Bodo Kim Shudrai Katakodakai Yasha Bhaktir Bhagavati Haro Nishreya Seshware Vikridatom Ritam Bodo Kim Shudrai Katakodakai Yasha Bhaktir Bhagavati Haro Nishreya Seshware Vikridatom Ritam Bodo Kim Shudrai Katakodakai. No, that is not the tune. The tune was the tune I did. You don't change the tune. Okay? Yasya Bhakti Bhagavati, that's the tune. If you want to do, you can do, but you do the same tune. Mataji's. Yasya, of whom? Bhakti, devotional service. Bhagavati, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Haro, Lord Hare. Nishreyasya Ishware, the controller of the supreme perfection of life, or supreme liberation. Vikridata, swimming or playing. Amrita Ambodo, in the ocean of nectar. Kim, what is the use? Kshudrai, with small. Kartika Udakai, ditches of water. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Prabhupada. A person fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Hare, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in small ditches? Translation responsively. The person fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Hare, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in the small ditches? Purport. Vritrasura has formerly prayed, Bhagavatam 6.11.25, Nanaka prishtam na cha parameshtyam na savo bhomam na rasadi patyam. I do not want the facilities for happiness on Brahmaloka, Swagaloka, or even Dhruvaloka. Not to speak of this earth or the lower planets. I simply want to return home back to Godhead. This is the determination of a pure devotee. A pure devotee is never attracted to any exalted position within this material world. He simply wants to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani, the Gopis, Krishna's father and mother, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, Krishna's friends and Krishna's servants. He wants to associate with Krishna's atmosphere of Vrindavan beauty. These are the highest ambitions of a devotee of Krishna. Devotees of Lord Vishnu may aspire for a position in Vaikuntha Loka, but a devotee of Krishna never aspires even for the facilities of Vaikuntha Loka. He wants to return to Goloka Vrindavan and associate with Lord Krishna in his eternal pastimes. Any material happiness is like water in a ditch, whereas the spiritual happiness eternally enjoyed in the spiritual world is like an ocean of nectar in which a devotee wants to swim. Amagyan timarandasya gananjana shalakaya chakshurmalitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swapadantikam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhi evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanando Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very significant pastime. There's a pastime of Vritrasura. It's a well-known pastime in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And the pastime is glorious because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us that anyone can take to devotional service. Right? There are no hard and fast rules. No one is disqualified from being a devotee. Right? It doesn't matter about your birth or your prior situation. In the Harinam Chintamani, then Haridas Thakur, he says that actually it is an aparad. It's an offense that if you judge a devotee according to what they previously were, according to their material position, then that is an aparad, that's an offense. So if you say, oh, you know, this devotee is from such and such country. You know, sometimes I've been to temples in ISKCON where the South Indian devotees don't talk to the North Indian devotees. And the North Indian devotees don't talk, that's Maya. That means you're in Maya, right? If you teach like that. Or sometimes, even within the temple community, I've seen, sometimes even in the temple community, devotees, they develop factions. Or they develop groups, Gana. Oh, our group is better than yours. We don't talk to your group. We'll serve our group, but not your group. That's also Maya, right? That's also material consciousness, right? But it's there, right? So Haridas Thakur says that if you are judging a devotee according to his birth or his previous situation, then that is an aparad, right? You think, oh, this devotee, or he says that a devotee may have committed sinful activities in the past. So before he became a devotee, he may have committed sinful activities. You know, he did this thing and that thing, and you say, well, you know, they used to be like that. They are fallen devotee. He is a devotee, but he is fallen devotee, or he is uncultured devotee, or he is uncivilized devotee. If you're thinking like that, then you are in Maya. You're committing offense. This is called aparad. So Haridas Thakur says you cannot judge a devotee according to the material position. It's an offense against the holy name. Right? You won't get a taste for chanting. Sometimes devotees, we think, why don't I have a taste for chanting? Maybe you don't have taste for chanting because your mentality is not correct. Krishna doesn't like your mentality. You are envious of other devotees. Prabhupada explains this in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto. Right? He says that each devotee has to look within their own heart, their own mind, their own consciousness. You have to look in your heart and see, do I have envy there? Only you can tell. Krishna knows already, but only you can tell. Do I have envy towards other devotees? Right? So if you're feeling that you have envy towards other devotees in your consciousness, right, then that means you are still envious of Krishna. Right? One time one devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I will serve you, but I will not serve these followers, your followers, certain devotees. And then Prabhupada said, love me, love my dog. If you say, well, I follow Prabhupada, it means you have to follow Prabhupada's followers as well. You have to follow Prabhupada's servants. You say that, well, I will follow Prabhupada, but I won't cooperate with these servants, then you're not actually a follower of Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, love me, love my dog. Right? If you want to cooperate with me, cooperate with my followers as well. Right? This has to be the mentality of a devotee, that he will follow, he will cooperate. Prabhupada said, the proof of how much you love me is how much you will cooperate after I am gone. And we see it's not always easy for devotees to cooperate. Devotees don't get along. Sometimes I hear, oh, this devotee is not talking to this devotee. That devotee is not talking to that devotee. This is all Maya. Sometimes in my class, I teach the classes in the evenings. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhaktivedanta, now Kesava. Sometimes over the years I hear devotees are not getting along in the class. Oh, this devotee is not speaking to you. So I call them, come, we'll talk about this now. Prabhupada used to do like that. If he heard there was a problem, he'd say, okay, come now, we will talk. This is Prabhupada's methodology. The methodology in the material world is everyone just lets it go for years and years and years and build up the apparat and you won't talk. And what is that? That's material consciousness. Prabhupada said the proof of how much you love me is how much you cooperate after I am gone. So it means, we were saying the other day, we had a nice program on Sunday for the disciples of Kadambakanan Swami, because Maharaj is preparing to leave this world. So we came together with his disciples and we were discussing. So we were saying to the devotees that Prabhupada said there will be another ISKCON in the spiritual world. Right? When you go back to Godhead, everyone here will be there. Sometimes you think, oh, I'll go back to Godhead, but I hope that devotee is not there. I hope I don't see this devotee, I hope I don't see that devotee. But you better get used to it, because everyone's going to be there. And if you have envy in your heart, if you can't get along with certain devotees, you can't go back to Krishna. Krishna will not let you come back. Why are we in the material world right now? Because we're still envious. So Prabhupada says that envy has to be cleared. Right? You have to see, because if you have envy towards someone else, it means you're still envious of Krishna. And Krishna doesn't let you come back to the spiritual world. The Bhagavatam says in the very beginning, it is for those who are nirmatsara. Nirmatsara means no envy. Right? The spiritual world is for people who don't have envy. That's why it works. It's not that Krishna has left-wing gopis. When Krishna left the rasa dance, all the gopis, they don't dislike each other. There's not envy there. They compete because they have different moods in service, but there is not envy there in the spiritual world. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means it is peaceful. Material world is Kunta. Kunta means, is anyone peaceful? Hare Krishna, anyone peaceful? No, I don't know. Is anyone peaceful in this material world? But in the spiritual world, everyone is peaceful. The spiritual world is an interesting place because everyone is peaceful, but it's not a peaceful place. The spiritual world is not like a peaceful place. It's not like everyone's just sitting around all like, shanti. And no, it's not like that, right? People get angry all the time. There's everyone is crying all the time, right? They're always peaceful. This sounds like it's a dichotomy, it sounds like a contradiction. How can it be peaceful, but everyone does all these things all the time? No. The reason is because everything is for Krishna's pleasure. Right? If they get angry, means jealous anger. Right? She gets angry with Krishna. You know the pastimes, Radharani gets angry with Krishna. Sometimes she will not speak to Krishna. And then Krishna gets very upset. He becomes beside himself. Because Radharani, sometimes she gets so angry she won't see him, she won't talk to him. And Krishna sends messages. He writes messages and he sends them and they give. And then the manjaris, the gopis, they come back. And then Krishna says, what did she say? She got my note? And I said, she didn't read it. She doesn't want to talk to you. You won't even talk to Krishna. So then Krishna has to work out, how can I break Radharani's man? Man means jealous anger. How do I break this up like a gopi? He dresses up like a gopi, and then he goes into where Radharani is, into her kunja, her grove. And then the gopis, they see this new gopi coming. And then they say, oh, we have not seen you before, Saki. What is your name? And the new gopi says, Nava Manjari. Nava Manjari means new Manjari, new gopi. And I said, okay, what do you do? My father in Mathura, he is hairdresser. He is a barber. So I am expert at this. I can dress the hair and do all this shringar, all this nice decoration and everything. Oh, very nice. Can you do for Radharani? Yes, of course. Okay, so then comes in, and then Radharani is lying there, right? And then Srimati Radharani, she is in very angry mood, very sulky, jealous anger, not speaking to Krishna. So then comes in, and then Krishna, or Navamandri comes there, and begins to massage the feet of Srimati Radharani. And as soon as Radharani feels the touch of this new manjari, she opens her eyes and she says, I know who this is. So then the massage is continuing, so she waits for some time, and then she says, Lalita, Vishaka, this new manjari is serving me very nicely. We have to give her reward. I think we will give her some new clothes. And then Navamandari stands up and she says, I have to go now. Time for me to leave. And she starts to walk out. And then all the Sakis grab her and say, no, it's okay. We're all ladies. There is nothing to hide. We will give you some nice new clothes. Radharani says, take off her bodhis. Take off her choli. So they begin to undress her. And Krishna's trying to... and then finally they undo the choli and they open it and 2 big mangoes fall out on the ground. And everyone sees. The mangoes have fallen out. And everyone just burst out in laughter. And then finally Radharani, she smiles. And her anger is broken. And then Krishna falls down on her feet and he grabs her feet on her and he begins to cry. Radha, don't leave me, don't leave me. So this is the mood in the spiritual world. The spiritual world is a place that is peaceful, but it is full of all sorts of emotions. But everything is for Krishna's pleasure. That's why it is peaceful in the spiritual world. In the material world, you will not find peace. If you come to the temple dressed up in a sari, you will not find peace. We will say, what are you doing? Prabhuji, Nikeshwari Prabhu, why are you wearing sari today? You will not find peace. But in the spiritual world it is possible. In the material world, these things are not possible. You cannot imitate Krishna. We have to follow Krishna. Right? Follow Krishna, do not imitate. If you imitate Krishna, then you will suffer. So in the spiritual world it is like that. So Vritrasura, he is extraordinary person. Because he is born in the demon body. Like many of us, we're born in the demon body, the asura body. We have material desires, we have... asura means too much influenced by mode of passion and mode of ignorance. This is asura. Krishna discusses the 3 modes of nature in the Bhagavad-Gita. Which chapter does Krishna discuss 3 modes of nature? Which one? 14. Very good. What is chapter 14 called? Very good. Yeah, very good. 3 modes of material nature, chapter 14. Krishna speaks. Also, chapter 16, Krishna speaks about the 3 modes of material nature. What is chapter 16 called? Very good. Divine and demoniac nature. So Krishna speaks about 3 modes there also. And then chapter 17, he speaks about 3 modes. What is chapter 17 called? The divisions of faith. Very, very good. And then in chapter 18, Krishna also speaks about the 3 modes of nature. What is that called? Yeah. Chapter 18 is the conclusion of the Gita, right? So we're hearing about the 3 modes. Also, Krishna discusses the 3 modes in the beginning of the chapter. So in the final part of the Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita has 3 divisions. First 6 chapters are? What are the first 6 chapters? Discussing Karma Yoga. First 6 chapters discuss Karma Yoga. Yeah. Actually, first chapter is introduction. Then chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, they discuss like coming on. Then, last 6 chapters, they discuss Jnana Yoga, very good. Yeah, about the philosophy. The last 6 chapters are very philosophical. And the middle 6 chapters are called Bhakti Yoga. Why does Krishna have the 6 Bhakti Yoga chapters in the middle? Yes. They're the most important, but why does he keep them in the middle? Usually you keep the most important thing at the end. Why does he keep in the middle? Because it is rahasya, it is secret. So he hides it in the middle. In between the Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga, Krishna hides the Bhakti Yoga. That is the most important part of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the most important chapter of the whole Bhagavad Gita? Very good. Yeah, chapter 9. What is chapter 9 called? The most confidential knowledge, yeah. Chapter 9 is the most important chapter. Chapter 9 is the most important chapter, and chapter 10, the Chatur Shloki. Which verses are Chatur Shloki?
10.8 to 10.11.
Very good, very good. Very good. 8, 9, 10, 11. This is called Chatur Shloki. Hamsa Vasya Prabhu, all these verses are there. Machchita, Magata, Prana. So these 4 verses and chapter 9, this is the most important part of the Bhagavad Gita. So in this important part of the Gita, Krishna is speaking the rahasya, the secret. That's why it's in the middle. The chapter 9 is right in the middle of the Gita. Right? Then we have, at the end, we have Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga means knowledge. Krishna speaks a lot of philosophy. Now it's very interesting for me, I find it very interesting that Krishna could speak anything in the last 6 chapters. But what does he mainly speak about in the last 6 chapters? Yeah? Yeah, Jnana Yoga, yeah. But what does he speak about? Very good, yeah. The gunas, the 3 modes of material nature, very good. Yeah. This is what he speaks about. So that is the main part of jnana, to understand the 3 modes. Right? It is very important to understand how the 3 modes of nature act on us. If you read the Nectar of Instruction, the Upadeshamrita, then in the beginning of the Upadeshamrita, Prabhupada says the purpose of this book is to bring you from ignorance to passion to goodness. Right? You have to rise up through the modes of nature. First of all, there is the mode of ignorance. What are the qualities of the mode of ignorance? What is it? Yeah, greed, anger, lust, envy. Yeah, these all come from ignorance. Yeah. Ignorance means you are lazy. This is mode of ignorance. You are lazy. Hands up if you are lazy. You're lazy? You're lazy? Kids are all lazy. Very honest. They consider themselves lazy. Yeah. It's okay for kids to be a little bit lazy. That's okay. Because you're kids. You want to have fun. You don't want to do your homework. Hands up if you like your homework. No one puts their hands up? Yeah. Yeah, because kids don't like homework. So you want to be a little bit, you just want to play all day, right? Hands up, you just want to play all day. Yeah, that's it, because you're kids. That's what you're supposed to do. But then we have to teach you things. So then we have to give you a little bit of discipline also. So mode of ignorance means lazy. And you cannot advance very well in spiritual life if you are lazy. Prabhupada says here in the purport for this verse, which verse is it? 22. No, the page turn. Prabhupada says, this is the determination of a pure devotee. If you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, you have to be determined. Right? If you're lazy, you will not advance. So if you're lazy, that means you have too much quality in the mode of ignorance. So you have to come out of the mode of ignorance. So Prabhupada says in Upadeshamrita, in the Nectar of Instruction, you have to come from ignorance to passion. Right? Because what's it like if you're passionate? At least you're not lazy, which is good. Because then you have to, passionate people are determined. They want to do something. But what is the quality of the mode of passion? unlimited material desires, right? Attachment to the material world. That is mode of passion. If you're attached to this material world, hands up if you're attached to this material world. Yeah, that means mode of passion. Mode of passion makes us attached. Unlimited material desires, right? You see in the material world, when people get money, when they get $1 billion, can you imagine having $1 billion? It's hard to even imagine. It's hard to imagine, but people have $1 billion. And then what happens when they have $1 billion? Yeah, they think, okay, how do I get 2? Right? And then you get 2, and then they think, how do I get 6? And then you get 6, and then think like that. That's how people think. The richest people in the world, like Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, Gates, all these people. Yeah, Elon, yeah, he's the richest now. So all these people have money, but I mean, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. Why don't they retire? They can just play all day. Yeah, they can just play. Let's have fun. Why do you have to work? You've got billions of dollars. No, let's get more, let's get more. That's passion. Unlimited material desires. Right? Material desires, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, they burn like fire and they're never satiated. Just like a fire, right? If a fire is burning, it wants more fuel. That's the nature of fire. So you put more fuel. Are you happy now? No. Give me more. Right? If the fire is burning one room in the house, it's not happy. It says, come on, give me more. So I'll take the whole house. Right? And then I'll take the next door neighbor's house. And then I'll take the whole suburb. Just like in a few hundred years ago, London caught on fire. Right? And the whole city is burning. The fire just wants more and more. So material desires are like that. Right? The more you feed your material desires, the more you will want more. That is the mode of passion. But in devotional service, if you're in the mode of passion, you can use passion to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, because you can do so many things for Krishna. There's so many things. You can use passion. But you don't want to stay in the mode of passion, because mode of passion means while you're doing your service, you will have material motivations. You're doing service for Krishna, but maybe you're motivated by fame. You want everyone to recognize you. Right? Oh, I do so much service for Krishna, but I want everyone to see, oh, I am doing the service, and glorify me. That's mode of passion. So then mode of goodness, Prabhupada says, go from mode of ignorance to mode of passion to mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, that is the best mode to perform devotional service in. Mode of goodness, because it means you're peaceful, you're balanced, there are less material desires, right? And you're focused. So it is good, but mode of goodness has some problems as well. It conditions you to a sense of happiness. Oh, everything is just nice now. I have my little apartment, and I have my little yoga mat, and I have one harmonium, and some nice books, and I can just... It's mode of goodness, right? Which is good, but sometimes we become conditioned or attached to it. And then we think, oh, that is enough. We don't want to surrender more to Krishna. We have to be careful of that. Mode of goodness can also condition us in this world. But Prabhupada says mode of goodness, it can be a springboard to pure goodness, to Shuddha Sattva. But bhakti is always, to become a pure devotee means you have to become surrendered. Krishna says, Mam ekam sharanam braja. Sharana means surrender. You have to surrender to God. That's how you advance in Krishna consciousness. You have to push yourself beyond your limits. Whatever your limits are, you have to go beyond that. That is bhakti. Krishna will do this to you. He'll take you beyond your limits. And then when he takes you beyond, he will take you further beyond. And he'll take everything from you. You just watch. If you stay here, if you keep serving Krishna, you watch, he will take everything, more and more. He will test you. He will smash your false ego. Are you surrendered to me? Are you here because you want to serve me? Or are you here because everyone goes, oh, Prabhuji, you're such a nice devotee. Oh, Prabhuji, come to my place for prasadam. I will cook you nice dosa. I will give you everything you want, like that. No. Is that why you're here? Because you just want material things? Or you're here because you want to surrender to Krishna? Krishna will test these things. Well, bhakti means surrender. So Vritrasura, he is said to be in the mode of passion. He is a demon. But he goes beyond being a demon, and he is fully surrendered to Krishna. So we should also become fully surrendered to Krishna, like Vritrasura. Prabhupada says here in the purport, he simply wants to associate with the personality of Godhead like the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Prabhupada says here, a very nice comment that Prabhupada makes, he says that the devotee, Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad-Gita, I think it's near the end of the 11th chapter, or in the 12th chapter, I think it's near the end. In one purport, Prabhupada says, we should not divert our mind even to another form of Krishna. We should only think of Krishna. We should not even think of another form of Krishna. Only our mind should be attached to Krishna. Right? That is Krishna consciousness. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. Last night we were reading in the Bhakti Sarvabhauma class. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching the Mayavadi sannyasis in Benares, in Varanasi. So he converted Prakashananda Saraswati and all the Mayavadis. And then he said to them that the nature of bhakti is that you can think of Krishna in the mood of conjugal love. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. Right? The love that the residents of Vrindavan have for Krishna. Right? So here, we're hearing that Prabhupada is saying in the purport, we should focus like that. We should focus on going to Vrindavan, becoming attached to serving Krishna in Vrindavan. And we should not let our mind even go to other places. Right? And that is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. That's the mood of ISKCON, actually. We'll stop here, see if there are any questions or comments. Anyone in the universe? Any other questions or comments? No questions today? No? Okay. Anyone have? You have? Okay.
So, because you mentioned that we have to come from ignorance, passion, and then passion, if we act in Krishna consciousness, like if we engage in devotional service, even more passion, then we can advance. But I remember hearing somewhere that unless we come to more goodness, there's actually no question of advancing.
No, that's not true. It doesn't say you cannot advance, but if you're in the mode of ignorance doing devotional, because in third canto of Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev teaches about devotional service in the mode of ignorance. So it's there. Or devotional service in the mode of passion. It means in the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, your advancement will be less. In the mode of goodness, you will get more advancement. And in pure goodness, then everything is perfect. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you can't do any advancement. It doesn't mean it'll be slow. Because what's the symptom of a mode of ignorance? You're lazy. So how are you going to make advancement if you're lazy? If you don't get up in the morning, how are you going to make advancement? Oh, I sleep until 10 o'clock. Okay, and then devotional service is it's going to be very difficult to make advancement. So it means like that. Very good question. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Oh yeah, you have. Okay.
So my question was as you said that Vritrasura, he was a demon, but he was demons are meant to be in the mode of passion, but he was a great devotee, he was in the mode of goodness.
Yeah.
So as you said, goodness can also make us too much attached to the material world.
Yeah.
So how is he in the mode of goodness? If he's not attached to the material world, then he's always
Who are you talking about? Vritrasura? Vritrasura is a pure devotee. So a pure devotee always thinks of Krishna, like Prabhupada. Always thinks of Krishna. But Vritrasura is in the body of a demon. So if you look at him, he looks like he's in the mode of passion. But in his heart, in his mind, he is in pure goodness. Does it make sense? So that means that we can't look at devotees. You can't say, oh, that devotee is from China or Taiwan. That devotee is from India, South India. This devotee is Punjabi. This devotee is from, what do you call that place? Ringwood? Was it? Vermont. Yeah, Vermont, you know what I mean. So Vermont, there's Vermont devotee, there's Indian devotee, this is Western devotee, this is, no, we don't look like that. Because what is in the heart, that's what Krishna sees. Krishna doesn't see the material body, Krishna sees the spiritual form, he sees what's in the heart. So even though Vritrasura looked like he was in mode of passion, but in the heart, he was pure devotee, thinking of Krishna. Does it make sense? Okay. Is that okay? You want to ask anything else? No.
I have a question on this point actually. Like you mentioned earlier, like exactly the same point that you cannot judge the devotees because of their material designation. How about non-devotees? Can we judge the non-devotees because of their material designation?
Can we judge them? Means that we discriminate. So when you see someone who's in the mode of ignorance, like, you know, near our farm, we have one shopping centre. We go there for doing our shopping for the farm, called Warm Ponds, right? So we put up in the car, we got out, and there's one man, he's walking around the car park, and he's like talking to himself, and he's kind of yelling, and he's like, you can see he's in mode of ignorance, like disturbed. So you don't go up to the person and say, you know, you don't engage, because you understand that mode of ignorance, so you judge. Doesn't mean judge, but it means discriminate. Don't go near this person, because maybe some altercation will take place. And actually something did happen. I saw, you know, some altercation was there, you know, went and like that. So, you know, we have to discriminate. You know, if someone's too much in passion, like, you know, then we have to, you know, maybe pull back a little bit. Like we look for people in the mode of goodness. They're easier to engage in Krishna consciousness. So we try to engage everyone in Krishna's service. We don't discriminate. Like when we're distributing books, or when you're doing Harinam, when you're chanting, or when you're distributing prasadam. Especially with Harinam Sankirtan, with chanting the holy name, we give to everyone. That's why, that is the mercy of the holy name. Prasadam we give to everyone. Book distribution, if people are walking down the street, you see someone in the mode of passion, someone in the mode of ignorance, who do you choose? Right? I usually choose the person in the mode of goodness, because I think, okay, I've got a better chance with this person. So we discriminate. But then with the holy name and prasadam, there's no discrimination. We just give it to everyone. You know, uplift them. That's all. Is that okay? Anything else you need to?
Yes. So, like I asked you before, I think, so when is that point that one person transitions, you know, from that being, from not being a devotee to being a devotee?
What's the transition?
Like when is the point where, you know, like maybe, because it seems that sometimes we give devotees, like Krishna also gives devotees a special treatment, right? So sometimes also
Yeah.
we have a special etiquette. We have good etiquette to everyone.
Yeah.
But especially to devotees.
Yeah.
So when does a person transition?
It's when Shraddha comes. Shraddha is the beginning of devotional service. Shraddha, Adol Shraddha, Rupa Goswami says that the beginning is faith. So when someone has faith, they say, you know, I believe that Krishna is God. At that point we say, okay, now you're a devotee. And they say, well, I can't chant japa and all these things. Okay, but you say Krishna is God, you're a devotee. So now we fan the spark and we try to bring them up. You know, because, you know, if they have that, that's enough. Now we can fan it, or you water the seed and make it grow. You look after them very carefully. If they come to that point, then.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah, well, that's what Lord Chaitanya teaches us. Lord Chaitanya says, with the seed is there, right? Shravanadi jal, by hearing and chanting. So if someone says, oh, I believe Krishna is God, okay, that's good. You should chant some rounds. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, no, but you have that there. Okay, let's fan it. Bring them up slowly. Then one day we say, okay, why don't you chant one round? Oh, okay, I can do that. Hare Krishna, Hare. There's one boy who used to come here, Polish boy, and I said to him, you need to chant every day. He said, I chant one round. I said, how is it? He said, oh, sometimes. I said, no, every day. Every day. You have to do it every day. He said, okay. So he agreed. Then I saw him 6 months later. How are you doing? Oh, I chant 16 rounds. Really? 16 rounds? Yeah, he said, because I'm doing it every day. So I said, why not? I'll do 4. I'll do 8. I'll do 16. Like that. So it has to be every day. That's the point. So even one round's okay, but then fan it. Then when Janmashtami comes, like Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday comes soon, say, okay, come on. This Janmashtami, you can do it for Krishna. You can give more. Give 16 rounds for Krishna. Or if they're already doing 16, come on, 32. Or come on, do 64. Like that. So we just fan it like that. Any other question?
We mentioned about distribution.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes we may discriminate what this person is buying maybe that other person. But actually, for example, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, from my experience, I thought, for example, this person will like to buy, comes to temple and all. But I noticed that actually those who haven't come, some of them ask at one time, immediately they say, okay, I want to all these.
Yeah, you can never tell externally. Like I remember I was on the street one time and I was distributing books and there was no one on the street. I was looking, who's there? Only person walking towards me was a bikie. Big man with leather jacket, bikie. Rides motorbikes, we call bikie? Yeah. So I look at him, he's walking down the street, he's the only one. And I'm thinking, he will never take a book. In my mind, I'm thinking, he will never take a book. So he comes to me, I say, excuse me, are you from Brisbane or out of town? He said, I'm Brisbane. I said, very good, I'll give you this book. And he goes, oh, yeah, this is good. He's looking at it, and then how much do you want? Gives me like $20, walks away. In my mind, I thought this guy never would take. But you cannot tell.
Never say never.
Never say never, yeah. Don't judge the jam by the jam jar. Don't judge. You can't judge externally. Some people, they look very rough, but then when you get to know them, they're very soft. We can never tell. That's all. Anything else?
Yes. What about if you see video movies, like Hare now, it's really fired up, and really fired up kirtan, and maybe they think it's people looking at them very passionate. But is that actually passion? Because it's in the heart.
It can be passion, yeah, it can be. They can be. It can be goodness or it can be passion, it can be both. Depends on your consciousness. Just like one time Prabhupada, I think it was here in Ormond, I think he was doing a hall program, or it might have been in Los Angeles, I can't remember, it was somewhere. So all the devotees were chanting, Prabhupada was on the stage, and all the devotees were chanting, and they're like very enthusiastic. And at one point, the brahmacharis, they're young and very passionate, and during the kirtan, they're going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, like this. So Prabhupada stopped the kirtan. Someone was there, they might have to do it. Prabhupada said, stop the kirtan. And everyone was shocked, and they looked at Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, not like this, like this. He said, start kirtan. So sometimes in kirtan, it's just mode of passion. It's just like a football match, or everyone's just like letting off their testosterone. Right? I see particularly with the men. The women tend to be more graceful. They dance nicely and like generally. And the men sometimes it just becomes like a party. But Krishna should be in the center of our mind and our hearts, our consciousness. We're chanting for Krishna's pleasure. It's not just so, we can let off some steam. That's not the point. So the holy name should always be the meditation, right? So if you're out in the streets, okay, you want to dance, like sometimes I dance like, that much off the ground. Sometimes like we're dancing so ecstatically, but if it's coming from the taste or our connection to the holy name, and then enthusiasm is coming, that's good. If it's just a mode of passion, it's, you have to see in your heart and your mind what is going on. It's okay? Okay. Anything else? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki?